What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Lock and Cash podcast. It's Friday, December 5th, and I'm back here for another video this week to wrap up the market with you guys. If this is your first time watching me, by the way, on the channel, my name is Jeff. It's Lock and Cash Sports. We handicap sports here, NFL, college football, college basketball, mainly what we do. And we do these market reviews every week. So this might be a shorter video. There has not been much movement in the market, aside from a few games that have taken some steam. But I do want to give you guys another bet at the end of this video. So if you just want a free play, go to the end of the video. Hopefully you caught the one yesterday with the Lions. I posted that on Shorts, guys. So make sure you're also checking out the Shorts if you're a subscriber. If you're already subscribed, if you're not, it helps me out. If you could subscribe, leave a comment, whatever I like, because I'm trying to grow here on YouTube. You know, we have a decent following on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, but YouTube is where I'm trying to build a little community over here. So but turn those notifications on too, because yesterday I posted a short for Thursday Night Football about how I really like the Lions team total that came through. So that was our first win of the week. We have 5 additional NFL plays ready to go for Sunday that are all loaded up. Subs all have them. We have 4 college football plays pending for conference championship weekend. And it is Friday, so the weekend pass is live. If you guys are interested in that, there's a deal. It's down in the description where you get Friday through Sunday for just $19. It's like the dirt cheap, the biggest promo that we run every week, because a lot of people just want to bet the weekend, just want to bet football, some UFC, maybe some college basketball on Saturday. All that's included. So if you're interested, check down below. If you're not interested, like, comment, subscribe, all that helps. Let's quickly go through what I'm seeing in the market here. The biggest move of the week by far is the first game that we'll look at is Washington, Minnesota. Minnesota was a small home dog. They're now a 2-point favorite at home. We've seen some buyback a little bit the other way, but this has by far been the most steamed side of the week, with pro bettors loving the Vikings here. Both teams on long losing streaks, both teams struggling. I do see the angle for Minnesota here. When they were plus 1.5, I was interested in teasing them up. Obviously, that is now not available anymore, but I do see the angle here, especially with Washington coming off of that overtime loss, right? They spent a lot of time on the field at home, overtime game. It looked like it was really an all-out effort. I mean, they put a lot into that game, and to come away losing by just a point was really tough on a 2-point conversion in overtime. You know, the Vikings, you get JJ McCarthy back. After what you saw from Brosmer, you're kind of happy to have him back at this point, even though he has not been playing well. I do think he listen, when it comes down to him and the market buying on McCarthy, can he just make basic throws? Guys are going to be open in this game. All right, this is a great matchup for the skill position guys that Minnesota has. So Washington defense struggles with speed. I mean, Jefferson and Addison and these guys, they're going to be open, right? Guys are going to be open in this game. It's just about, can you hit them? If you can hit them, if McCarthy can make some throws, the Vikings win. And the Vikings have the better defense. Their defense has been elite, by the way, even during this losing streak. They're a top 10 unit versus the pass, getting much better versus the run as they got healthier. So this is a great defense. It's a well-coached team. They've got everything besides a quarterback, and that is, incredibly hindering to you. So we'll see, but I just wanted to spend a couple minutes on that game because it's worth noting that is the most steamed side of the week that I've seen. The Jets and the Dolphins, Miami's now a 3-point favorite. I was surprised that Miami took money in this game. They are playing well. The defense is on the upswing. They've got something to play for here in terms of a playoff spot. But I just think, man, home divisional dog getting that 2.5. I would have teased the Jets up. It's not as great of a bet when you teasing up a team that is 2.75. What I mean by that is that when you look out in the market, there's 2.5s and there's 3s. That means the team is lined at 2.75. So that's not as great of a teaser leg as a team that you tease up from plus 2.5 to plus 8.5, and then the 2.5 goes down to 2 or 1.5. That's a much better teaser leg, but I would still tease the Jets up. You're going to have wind also, some rain, very cold temperatures in this game. Tua does not perform well outdoors in this type of weather, and that's exactly what you're getting outside. I mean, I live up here. I'm like 30 minutes from the stadium. It's going to be freezing cold, and there's going to be wind, and it looks like there's going to be some rain too. I just don't see, and the total's 41. I just don't see how a blowout either way. I still like the Jets as a teaser leg, even though the market is buying Miami. Titans, Browns, not much to say here. It's been back and forth between 4.5 and 4. I think Cleveland wins. I just don't see how Tennessee scores a point in this game. The Steelers did take a hit at 6. They're now down to 5.5. I lean Ravens in this one, but just worth noting there, the total also, the early week total for this game was 45. We saw 44, 43 and a half, 43. Now we're seeing 42 and a half at both DraftKings and BetOnline. So you're getting nothing but under money in the market. Lots of love for the under between Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and that kind of makes sense. They always play to the under. The dogs always come out in these games covering the spread or winning outright. I just think that that Steelers offense is totally broken, and I like the matchup for the Ravens defense, and I think Lamar's clearly not 100%, but maybe he gets some extra rest after he played on Thanksgiving, and Steelers defense doesn't outside of T.J. Watt, they don't scare me too much. So I like the Ravens in this one if you want to tease them down. I also like a -5.5, but because you're getting below the key number of 6, but the market took a little bit on Pittsburgh, nothing crazy, but the big move in this one is the under. Seahawks at Falcons, the 7.5s are now completely gone. We have 7 and 6.5s popping up for the Seahawks laying those points on the road. The total's held steady at 44.5. Um, one of the things here I'll tell you, you've got 3 teams this week that are catching a touchdown or more at home. They've been really good, really, really good. Last 5 years, 65% against the spread for home underdogs getting more than a touchdown. This year, 9-2 against the spread. You've got 3 of them this week. It's almost like these are an auto bet, guys. I mean, you really get to the point where you're like, should any team outside of maybe the bottom 3 in your power ratings, right? So in my power ratings, that would be Saints, sorry, Titans dead last, probably Saints, and then maybe Raiders or yeah, it's probably going to be Saints, Raiders, Titans. Aside from those 3 teams, should any other team be a 7-point dog at home? I could make a pretty strong argument for you that the answer would be no to that. So getting a team like Atlanta, 7, 7.5, 7.5s are gone, 7 at home, almost like an auto bet at this point. The market loves it. It's been nothing but Falcons money on this game to keep it close with the Seahawks. Colts at Jaguars, nothing has changed about this game. -1.5 everywhere still, 46.5. A little bit of under money, but pretty much held steady here. I like the Colts in the matchup, but nothing in terms of the market for this game. Bears Packers has also held steady at 6.5. That is after the early move. So the early money initially at the 5.5 for Green Bay came in and hammered the Packers, moved the lineup a full point, and now we're sitting at 6.5. I told you guys in the episode earlier in the week that I make this 7.5. I still like Green Bay at the current number, and I would not be surprised if by Sunday morning by kickoff this is 7 or more. So if you want to grab the Packers, I would do it. I would do it sooner rather than later. Saints, Buccaneers also holding steady. This game took some under money as well. We're now at 41.5, but the 8.5s are still out there with 8 starting to pop up. I do think you'll get 8 or 7.5 at the close of this game, as a lot of people that I've talked to lean Saints in the pro betting community. Next one up is the other big home dog, the Broncos laying 7.5 at the Las Vegas Raiders with a total of 40.5. Man, just think about it. We just talked about this with the Jets game, with the Falcons game, laying a touchdown. The total's 40. How many scenarios? I mean, the Raiders would have to do absolutely nothing offensively in this game to not cover the spread. I lean Raiders in this one, getting the 7.5, and I think the 7.5s will probably be gone at some point. I think you'll probably close here at 7, if I had to guess. So that hook can become very important in this game. The Raiders' offensive line, always a big question mark, could just break the game for them and they lose by double digits. But the Broncos, you got to prove it, right? The Broncos 1-point win at Washington last week, back-to-back road games coming off of overtime. They were on the field a ton of snaps, including all the penalties in overtime and everything. So could see some fatigue here for the Broncos in a game. And these teams just played, by the way, a few weeks ago. It was a Thursday night game. The Raiders were the ones in the bad spot coming off of overtime, where they played a full overtime period, and and the game was 10-7, the final score. And they were a 10-point dog in that game. So, I see no reason here the Raiders can't cover this number at home. Rams at Cardinals. This one is 8.5 to 8, depending on where you look, 47.5 the total. I like Arizona. I gave you guys that earlier in the week. Not much has moved here. There was some money that came in and dropped it to 8, and then it went right back up to 8.5 at some books. So it really just depends on where you look. This is one of those games where you got to shop it. 8.5. If you could get a 9, I think there's one book that has a 9. 8.5. I like in this game. I like the Cardinals to keep it close. They've been playing some sneaky good ball, just cannot get anything to go their way. Bengals at Bills. This is going to be, I think, a great game. The over took some money. 53.5 now is where we sit. And the Bengals got hit at 6, down to 5.5. I was in that crowd, by the way, that bet the Bengals at 6. I like them in this game. So worth noting, but holding steady now at 5.5, a little juiced to the -115 to the Bills side. So maybe we see sixes pop back up by Sunday. I think you could. I think if you like the Bengals in this game, you wait and you just hope for a 6. If it goes the other way, just lay off. If you like Buffalo, grab the 5.5 in case you see it. That's the only way I can see this game moving, is moving back up to 6. I don't think we're getting a 5 in this one. Houston at Kansas City, still 3.5. There's been nothing on this game besides under money. 43 down to 42.5, 41.5 now on the total, but side has remained steady. I'm a little surprised. I mean, I know Kansas City lost at Dallas, but if you go back and watch that, I watched that game twice. They moved the ball at will. They had no problems offensively. Though I think Andy Reid made 2 big mistakes, which was he opted to punt twice in the second half in Dallas territory. It was a 4th and 4 and a 4th and 5 just across midfield. And both times they pinned them, but when you have a great offense, pinning is not, the Dallas offense was humming. Pinning them is not going to do much for you. They can go 90 yards and get scores, which they did on one of them, I believe. So, pinning them, it's great. You want to play field position, but you can't stop the team. So what does it matter? I think you should have went up for both of them. I think they left points on the field. So I like them in this matchup. I make it closer to 5, but the market so far has not bought in on the Chiefs. We're still sitting at 3.5. And then your Monday Night Football game, we saw 3s for a while with the Eagles laying it at the Chargers, but we're back now to 2.5 across the board. It's been nothing but under money in this game as well. Lots of unders, which makes sense this time of year. Late season, teams are more tired. The bye weeks are mostly over, so teams have been playing for several weeks in a row. Defenses start to get tighter. Playoff game atmosphere, unders start to come in. Now, it doesn't just mean you auto bet unders. You need to get good value on the number as well, like 41.5. Don't love an under there, right? Like 43 is like a very key number, 23-20 finals. So make sure when you're betting these unders late in the season, you're at least getting good numbers, good hooks, and value. Watch out for the keys, which are 40, right? 43, 46, going in increments of field goals, right? 47 because 27 to 20 finals. So 47.5 is a good under, where 47 or 46.5 may not be a great under, right? It might be a good over. So you really got to consider the value that you're getting. But that's pretty much it, guys. The play. So hopefully you caught the short yesterday, the Lions team total. We hit that. The play I'm going to give you guys is the Arizona Cardinals plus 8.5. I really love this side. It's one of my favorite of the week because I really think at this point, I mean, a home divisional dog getting more than a touchdown at home, it's north of 65% for the trends. The Rams are in a bounce back spot, and I think that's where a lot of people are going to get tricked. Bounce back does not equal buy low, right? That I feel like people conflate those things. They can bounce back and get a win here, but you're not buying low. You're laying more than a touchdown on the road in a divisional game against a team, Arizona. They have the most losses this year by 4 points or less. They've been in tons of games that they could have easily won. They lost that game to the Titans. That was an inexplicable loss. And Jacoby Brissett is playing super, super well. So I think he can keep them in this game. And they're getting a little bit healthier. They're at home. They've been very competitive at home. Anyway, yada, yada, yada. I like the Cardinals plus 8.5. We'll see if it comes through for us. Thank you guys as always for watching. I'm also, later on tonight, I'm going to drop a video for Ohio State, Indiana. So keep an eye out, subscribe, get those notifications so that you'll know when I post it. And I'm going to give you my pick on that game for tomorrow, college football. Thanks for watching, guys.